Titleist has just rolled out their new GT line of drivers, and if you've been watching this channel, you know I'm a huge fan of the TSR series of drivers. I played the TSR 3 for about a year, and I really love that driver. Those came out in 2022, it's now 2024. Has technology improved significantly enough to make the switch here in 2024? Well, we're gonna put my TSR 3 up against the GT3. We'll look first here at the differences and similarities, and then we're gonna take some swings and find out. So there are three things here that has been improved with the GT drivers that I think really might make a difference. Number one is the material used on the crown of the driver. Looking down at these two drivers, they look nearly identical, but what's hiding underneath the GT is a proprietary matrix polymer, basically a lightweight material that's gonna help Titleist to create what they call split mass construction. So you have more weight at the face of the club and more weight at the back of the club, which should improve aerodynamics, stability, and of course lead to straighter shots. The other main thing you'll see right off the bat looking at these two drivers is that the weight track, where you can really adjust your shot shape, is moved from the back of the club like it was with the TSR 3 now to the front of the club with this GT3. And using your adjustment tool, you'll literally pop that weight track out, put it in position where you want it. I'm gonna set mine here to neutral, but you can set this up for more of a draw or more of a fade ball flight. And the third improvement that Titleist says that you're gonna get here with the new GT line of drivers is going to be an improved variable face thickness. And you've got a speed ring built into this, which is going to forgive some of those off-center hits. Let's put these two drivers right up head to head here. I've got the same hazardous counterbalance shaft on this one. This is in stiff. I've got both 10-degree heads. I've got them both set to a neutral position. So we should have a nice apples to apples comparison here. All right, first up is the TSR 3. We'll take 5 swings with this one, then we'll switch over to the new GT3 and see what comes out on top. I'll let you know what I'm feeling, by the way. Ooh, nice and straight, just a tiny little cut. Ooh, it almost hit the line. Almost hit the line now. I hit that a little lower on the face and a little bit heel side, but very nice result. Ball speed 143, backspin 2586, carried 237, and the total there 260. I think this driver's got a little more in it. Let's see what we do here on swing 2. Now that one, I went from hitting it a little low on the face to hitting it just a little high on the face. And as you can see, we lost some distance because of that. Ball speed was 138, so it was down. Backspin was up at 3467. Our carry was 222 and our total was 237, so pretty bad mishit there. That one was closer to our first swing, I'd say. And again, pretty good result. I still don't think I've caught any 3 of those in the middle completely, but that was definitely a little better. Ball speed 142, backspin 2546, carried 233, and the total was 256. Now that one was better contact, but it did go a little further left as well. And I don't know if that catches a fairway or not, but all of a sudden I'm seeing some pretty wide dispersion out of this one. Ball speed 145, backspin 2003. It carried 243 and it rolled out to 275. So best in terms of distance, but again, lost that a little further left than I'd like to see. Shot 5. That I think is my best swing. Caught that one in the middle. That's what the middle of the club face feels like. Ball speed 145, backspin, that's the perfect number I like to see, 2394. Carried 253, total 274. So again, that's what this driver is capable of on a great shot, and you saw what it's capable of on a poor shot. Still, that poor shot wasn't too bad. So let's switch now to the GT3 and see how things change. Woo! Right off the back, yes, absolutely this has slightly better feel than the TSR 3. I love the feel of the TSR 3, but this is a little bit better. It's an upgrade here with the GT3. And a pretty good ball there. 146 ball speed, backspin 2721, a little higher, carried 251, total 270. Shot 2. Yes. Ball speed 147, backspin 3096, so I'm seeing a little higher spin here with this driver. Carried 247, total 266. That one was off the toe. And I don't know if it was as far off the toe as the bad one with the TSR3, but it was close. And this one missed about just as far left, not quite as far left, but close. It did travel a little further, had better ball speed, 147. Backspin again, very low on that type of strike at 1486. The carry was 246, the total was 274. All in all, we're getting better distance on off-center hits here. I still haven't caught one dead in the middle. That one, a little heel side. And that's where you get that fade spin. So, again, we missed that one pretty good to the right, but look at how much more distance we get out of that miss. And that was hit on again about the same part of the club head as that shot. That's over there from the TSR3, fifth and final shot. Oh, we end strong. We end strong there. Let's see if we hit 280. Yes, 283. Ball speed 144, backspin 1892. The carry was 256. The total 283. So even though I hit one or two on the heel here, I hit one off the toe, and I hit a couple in the middle with this driver, similar to the TSR3, those strike positions, this one is definitely giving us considerably more ball speed, and it's leading to more distance. Wouldn't honestly have expected to see that big of a jump. Titleist says they don't release clubs unless it's a degree of difference. And you know, I'm kind of skeptical with that type of thing, but I think I saw it here with the GT3. I do think they have made some serious improvements, especially to the forgiveness of this club and the ball speeds that you generate on those off-center hits. That's going to be the reason that you talk yourself into buying this driver. The TSR3, a very solid performer, but if you want the best, you want the latest and greatest, and you want to get a little bit more forgiveness off those off-center hits, I think you got to look at the GT3 here. Now, looking at this dispersion map, this tells the clearest story that I've ever seen testing two clubs up against each other. This is incredible. So as you can see on good contact, these drivers literally go toe to toe. Those two shots there on the left are right on top of each other. Those shots up on the top, one with the GT, one with the TSR, that were again hit in the middle of the club face, in the right spot of the club face, really not much between those. But it's those other shots, those ones in the middle, those ones off to the right, where you can see on off-center strikes, the heel strikes you see there on the right side of your screen, the GT is considerably better here than the TSR3. And those ones there in the middle, you can also see they were hit just off-center of the club face. And again, you can see the distance gains there with the GT, those two orange dots on top of those two yellow dots in the same part of the fairway there. The good news is I think all 10 of those shots are probably in the fairway, if not close to the fairway. But yes, on those off-center hits, the GT definitely wins out. Now let's take a look here at the stats. So breaking down the averages, the TSR3 ball speed was 142.6. And again, as you'd expect, looking at that dispersion map, 145.3 for the GT3 there. So you've got it by about 3 miles per hour. And again, those averages really come down to the off-center strikes, because on a good strike, we're getting about 145.4 with the TSR3 and about 147 with the GT2. So that gap is a little bit closed on a good strike. Overall though, ball speed looks just a bit better there with the GT. In terms of launch angle, launching it just a little bit higher there with the GT3, which can also account for just that little extra distance, 14.4 degrees to 12.6 with the TSR3. In terms of backspin, really close, 25.99 with the TSR3, 24.18 with the GT2. So just a little bit less spin, but we do have a couple significant outliers there with the GT3 on those off-center hits as well. In terms of offline numbers, this is the dispersion. I like to look at standard deviation here, and as you can see, both very, very good. 22.6 and 24.4. Of course, let me qualify that statement, very good for the types of strikes they were. You're not going to see left and right too big of a difference, but again, it's that front and back difference that we saw on the off-center hits that make the difference. Peak height 28 to 33 in the GT3's favor, and that again has to do with that launch angle starting off a little bit more steep. Carried 238 to 248, so we got 10 yards more of carry with the GT there, and 260 to 271 in terms of rollout. The GT3 comes out on top. All right, wrapping these up, TSR versus GT. My final thoughts are, number one, I think in terms of distance on a center strike with the similar swing speed and similar smash factor, you're going to see the exact same shot. All right, it's not going to be any different than the TSR line, but where I do think there is, I would say, a significant difference is going to be those off-center strikes. The GT line of drivers is just simply more accurate, and it's going to forgive a few more mistakes. You saw in my test here, shots off the heel, shots off the toe, flew further, and were a little bit more tightly dispersed. Now, does that justify you existing TSR owners an upgrade? Or if you're shopping drivers and you can find a TSR for a couple $100 less, maybe even secondhand, than this GT driver, is it worth spending the extra money? This is now a $649 driver. I've got to say, I think the TSR still holds its own. It's a fantastic driver that Titleist built. If you really think that those extra forgiveness gains and those extra distance gains are worth it and you're shopping new for the first time, maybe at least swing these two and see what you think. But if you're an existing TSR owner like I am, I'd probably stick with what I got. That was such a solid driver and continues to perform extremely well, even up against all of these 2024 releases. Now, what I will say is the GT line of drivers I do think is my new number one here in 2024. Ping 10K Max won it for me earlier, and if I get the chance, I will put that Ping 10K Max right up against this GT driver, especially the GT2. I think that's the best of the bunch here, at least for us mere mortals. But yeah, Titleist definitely has something special here with the GT line of drivers. It's just so darn expensive. Hope you hit subscribe because we are reviewing all of the new releases here towards the end of 2024, and of course those new drivers that will be coming in 2025. Make sure you stay tuned, and I'll catch you back here next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.